I leaned back in my office chair, scrolling through Douyin to pass my lunch break. The first video the system recommended was from the People You May Know section. The boy on the screen wore a white shirt. He was young and handsome, holding a cup of Chagi's Boyajueshian milk tea. He was smiling brightly, his voice loud. I just mentioned it casually in my moments, and the boss had someone deliver it at midnight on the first day of autumn. You truly are the best boss in the world. I'm staying with you for life. He made a heart gesture toward the camera, his fingertips deliberately brushing against the logo on the cup. The corner of my mouth quirked. I didn't take it seriously. Young people nowadays love to flaunt their romances all over the internet. Just as my finger was about to swipe away, my eyes caught a line of small text at the bottom of the video. Asterisk special thanks to the CEO of Song Corporation. Asterisk. CEO of Song Corporation? Wasn't that Song Xiuening, my wife of 7 years? At that thought, my brow furrowed imperceptibly. I clicked into his profile and scrolled down through his timeline, post by post. The boy's name was Suzy Lin. He had graduated only 3 months ago, and it was clear he was someone who enjoyed documenting his life. His earliest videos were all of university campuses, tracks, libraries, and cafeterias, clean and ordinary, like any other student fresh out of school. About a month ago, he joined Song Corp as an intern, and the style of his videos changed completely. In his first workplace video, he took a selfie against the office glass. The caption read, Asterisk the boss praised my hard work in front of everyone today. No matter how tired I am, it's all worth it. Asterisk the background music was a popular, sweet love song. My finger paused for a moment before I continued scrolling down. In the second one, he wore a tailored, pure white suit, standing in the company corridor taking a full-length mirror selfie. The caption read, Asterisk the boss said my outfit is very tasteful. As expected, people with good vision have an accurate eye for everything. Asterisk. From that video onward, in every post where he appeared, he only ever wore that white suit. Even the button on his shirt collar was fastened in the exact same position, as if he were deliberately catering to someone's specific preference. Further down was a dinner from last week celebrating the interns who had passed probation. The camera was angled intentionally, capturing half of the profile of the person in the head seat. It was Song Xiuening. The caption read, Asterisk a promotion gift personally given by the boss, who even treated us newbies to a meal. I'm so lucky to have met such a leader. Asterisk. The latest one was the milk tea post I had just seen. The phrase, the best woman in the world, in the caption stung my eyes. I leaned back against my chair again, my thumb slowly rubbing the edge of my phone. Song Xiuening had run Song Corp for 5 years and was famous in the industry for her strict separation of public and private matters. She never gave anyone special treatment in the annual company draws. If an employee's family member was sick, she would donate money, but she never gave anyone private favors. In the past, employees had posted in their moments about wanting raises or vacations, and she had never acknowledged them. Only for this Suzy Lin did she praise his work, praise his outfits, treat him to dinner, and send him milk tea at midnight. Especially the first cup of milk tea in autumn. Is that something you just send to anyone? I curled my lip and let out a short laugh. 7 years of marriage, and I had given her enough trust and space, only for her to turn around and give special favoritism to a newly hired intern. I pressed the intercom. After 2 rings, Lin's phone picked up. President Chun. Notify the administration department. Every female employee on the top floor of the headquarters is to receive a luxury bag worth 100,000 yuan. They can choose any style they want. Distribute them by the end of the day. Silence followed on the other end for 2 seconds. Lin Feng's voice was hesitant. President Chun, there are about 20 female employees on the top floor. This expenditure. Charge it to my personal account. My fingertips tapped the cold desktop. My voice was flat. Before they get off work, have every one of them post about it on their moments and Douyin. Understood, President Chun. I'll arrange it immediately. Lin Feng didn't ask further and hung up. I tossed my phone on the desk and looked out the window. The first day of autumn still carried a hint of summer's heat. A cup of milk tea costing a few dozen yuan is hardly worth showing off to the world. His vision was a bit small. If you're going to give a gift, give something substantial. Let's see whose first gift of autumn carries more weight. In just 3 hours, the news exploded. Over 20 female employees posted on their moments and Douyin one after another. Some took photos of a whole row of luxury shopping bags with the caption, "President Chun is so generous. I'm staying with him for life." Some made heart gestures to the camera, saying, "Boss, I love you. I'm willing to dedicate my whole life to the company." A few more outgoing ones filmed unboxing videos, laughing and shouting, "Boss, I'm still single. Please take me away." The hashtag Chin Group female employees average 100K autumn bags rode the wave of popularity straight to the #1 spot on the local trending list. Even financial accounts forwarded the story, saying the president of the Chun Group dotes on his employees and has incredible vision. I sat in my office, scrolling through the comment section. I didn't even have to think about it to know that Song Shiwening must have seen it. Like me, she was in the habit of watching short videos to unwind. Sure enough, around 6 in the evening, the sound of the front door opening came from the foyer. The clicking of heels against the marble floor was much heavier than usual. I sat on the living room sofa, eyes closed in rest without looking up. Song Shiwening walked straight over and tossed her bag onto the sofa. Her phone slammed onto the coffee table with a clack, making the glass top vibrate. "Chunze, what is the meaning of this?" She stood before me, her face full of interrogation. She looked angry. So, it turns out she hated this kind of thing too. I lazily lifted my eyelids and looked at her. "What do you mean? What do I mean? The whole city is talking about you giving 100,000 yuan bags to your female employees. You're making such a scene on purpose. Who are you doing this for?" Her tone was fiery, tinged with an inexplicable sense of grievance. "Everyone in our social circle is asking me if we're having marital problems. If you don't find it embarrassing, I certainly do." I sat up slightly, picked up my phone, opened the video of Su Zillian's milk tea, and pushed it toward her. The screen happened to pause on the line, "President of Song Corporation." "Then why don't you tell me what this means first?" Song Shiwening glanced down. Her eyebrows didn't even twitch. She looked perfectly calm. "All this for that." She scoffed and sat down, casually picking up a water bottle from the table. She unscrewed the cap and took a sip, her movements fluid and without a hint of a guilty conscience. "He's just a new intern, a bright kid. He posted on his moments saying he wanted the first milk tea of autumn. I happened to see it and ordered one for him on a whim. It's not like I delivered it in person. Is there any need for you to make such a fuss?" "Make a fuss?" I raised my voice. What surprised me was that she actually thought it was nothing, just a cup of milk tea. "Do you really not know what the first milk tea of autumn signifies? Is that something you can just fucking send to anyone?" Song Shiwening's movement of putting down the water bottle paused. She hadn't expected this reaction from me. It had been a long time since she heard me use profanity. She set the bottle down and looked at me, her eyes filled with a touch of disbelief, as if she thought I was being unreasonable. "Chunze, is there really a need to blow this out of proportion? It's just a cup of milk tea, something that costs a few dozen yuan. Is that the same as you turning around and blowing over 2 million on bags? Now look, it's trending. Everyone is discussing your company." "I don't care what others say," I interrupted her. I looked her in the eye and spoke slowly. "I'm only going to ask you one thing. Before him, did you ever personally order takeout or give a private gift to any other employee?" Her lips moved, her mouth opened, but no words came out. She averted her gaze, looking out at the night view through the window. But the area behind her ears tightened, and even the lines of her neck stiffened. I knew she couldn't answer. I knew Song Shiwening's character better than anyone. She was proud, restrained, and always kept her public and private lives strictly separate. In the first 2 years of our marriage, she would even transfer money to her assistant for buying her a cup of coffee. Now, she was sending milk tea to a male intern at midnight and calling it convenient. I just thought the kid was working hard and wanted to encourage a newcomer, that's all." Her voice grew softer, losing its earlier assertiveness and gaining a hint of strained defensiveness. "You're just overthinking it. You're being narrow-minded." Looking at her stubborn refusal to admit fault, the last bit of warmth in my heart slowly turned cold. This version of her felt like a stranger. I stood up. Because of the height difference, she was forced to look up at me. "I'm giving you 2 choices," I said in a flat voice that left no room for compromise. "Tomorrow, either HR goes through the process to fire Su Zillian, or you get the hell out of this house. Take your pick." Song Shiwening stood up abruptly, her eyes wide as if she couldn't believe I would say such a thing. Are you crazy, Chinze? You want to divorce me over a cup of milk tea? If word gets out, what would that make me, Song Shiwening? The moment she heard the choices, her default assumption was that I wanted a divorce, rather than thinking she should fire the employee. I stared at her, not backing down an inch. What? Or are you saying you can't bear to let him go? What nonsense are you talking? Her voice suddenly spiked, and her cheeks flushed slightly, whether from anger or because I had hit the mark, I didn't know. I didn't argue with her further. I turned and walked into the master bedroom, pulling the door shut behind me. With a click, I locked it. It went silent outside instantly. A few seconds later, there was the sound of the doorknob turning. Once, twice, and then it stopped. Leaning against the back of the door, I could hear her breathing as she stood outside. It was a bit hurried, a bit erratic. After a while, footsteps moved away, heavy and filled with anger. She was likely heading to the guest room. I went to the bed and sat down. On the nightstand sat our wedding photo from last year. She was in a white gown, her eyes crinkled with a smile. Back then, the way she looked at me was filled with an unmistakable love. When did things start to change? I don't know. All I know is that some things, once broken, are hard to mend. The next morning, I went to the office as usual. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, I bumped into a few female employees. Their eyes lit up when they saw me. Good morning, President Chun. President Chun, you're here. Every one of them was beaming, their voices filled with genuine gratitude. I nodded and walked toward my office. I had just sat down when my beautiful secretary brought in coffee. The temperature was perfect, and the sugar was exactly how I liked it. After setting down the coffee, she casually tidied the scattered documents on my desk, her fingertips grazing the surface with light, delicate movements. President Chun, if your neck and shoulders are feeling stiff, I've learned a bit of massage. I could give you a quick rub. Her voice was soft, carrying a hint of cautious flattery. I glanced up at her. No need. Go back to your work. Of course, President Chun. Just call if you need anything. She smiled and retreated. Throughout the morning, everyone who came in to deliver documents, pour tea, or report on work was exceptionally attentive. It wasn't that they had ulterior motives. They had received benefits and genuinely wanted to treat their boss better. Being pampered did indeed feel good. It only cost $2 million, money well spent. After finishing the morning's paperwork, I checked my watch. 11:30, half an hour until lunch. I picked up my phone and opened Douyin, intending to scroll through a few videos to pass the time and relax. The first post on the homepage was Su Zillian again. The video was filmed at their company, showing files and snacks on his desk. His voice came through the speaker, tinged with an irrepressible smugness. Tomorrow is my birthday. I wonder if a special someone will prepare a special surprise for me. This time, I want a very special birthday cake. The caption was even more direct. Looking forward to tomorrow. Hope my wish comes true. I stared at the screen, my gaze slowly turning cold. Fine. Very well then. I had just told her yesterday to fire him, and not only did she refuse, but she also indulged him enough that he started anticipating a birthday surprise. It seems she treated my words as nothing more than wind in her ears. Then again, in our 7 years of marriage, I had always spoiled her and doted on her, supporting her no matter what she did. She probably thinks this time will be the same, that after giving me the cold shoulder for a couple of days, a bit of acting cute and a gift would turn the page. But this time, she has crossed my line. I curled my lip, my smile devoid of warmth. The past is the past. I was good to her because she was worth it. She was pure, beautiful, and maintained clear boundaries with all men, making me the sole exception. I dialed Lin Feng's number. President Chen, I need you to do something for me. After I finished speaking, there was silence on the other end. Lin Feng even seemed to stop breathing. It took a long while for him to snap out of it. President Chen, usually steady and efficient, his voice was now faltering. Are you serious? Otherwise, when have I ever joked with you? Hurry up, I need it tomorrow. No one would be willing to do it. It's too disgusting. Lin Feng's tone was full of hesitation. Then offer more money. I don't care what method you use. Even if you have to learn it yourself on the spot, get it done by tomorrow. All right, President Chun. I'll find a way. I want to see the finished product before tomorrow afternoon. Understood. I hung up and tossed the phone aside, a faint sense of anticipation stirring within me. Since he wants a special birthday surprise, I'll help him have a birthday he'll never forget. When I returned home that evening, Song Shiwening was already there. She wasn't in the living room. Hearing the door open, she walked out of the kitchen. She was wearing an apron and holding a freshly cooked dish. "You're back." She walked over and naturally took my coat to hang it on the rack. Her voice was soft and gentle, a complete contrast to the aggressive woman from yesterday. "I made some soup myself. Go wash your hands. Dinner is almost ready." I glanced at her, said nothing, and turned to go to the bathroom. When I finished washing my hands and came out, she had already served the soup and was sitting across the dining table, her chin resting in her hands as she watched me. A hint of a pleasing smile played in her eyes. "Try it. It's your favorite, corn and pork rib soup." I picked up the spoon and took a sip. The taste was the same as always. "It's good. If it's good, have some more." She smiled so widely her eyes crinkled, acting as if nothing had ever happened. After dinner, she pulled me onto the sofa, took a velvet box from under the coffee table, and pressed it into my hands. It was a dark red box with a gold leaf logo, packaging from a top-tier luxury watch brand. "For you," she said, blinking, her tone carrying a hint of smugness. "It's a new limited edition. I asked someone abroad to wait in line for 3 months to get it. I was wrong last time. My tone was a bit harsh. Don't take it to heart. Just think of it as my first gift of autumn to you." I opened the box. A platinum case, blue steel hands, and a dial set with diamond pave. It was indeed a limited edition, and it looked incredibly expensive. It must have been pricey. I closed the box and set it aside. "As long as you like it." She leaned closer, her shoulder pressing against my arm. Strands of her hair brushed against my neck, carrying the scent of her usual perfume. "I'm going to run the bath. Wait for me, okay?" She looked up at me, the corners of her eyes tilted up slightly with a familiar hint. Usually, at a moment like this, I would have already swept her up in my arms. After 7 years of marriage, she knew exactly how to provoke me. But today, I wasn't in the mood. It wasn't because I was bored of her. It was because I felt something in my heart had changed. Seeing that I didn't move, she paused for a moment. "What's wrong? Still angry?" "No." I shook my head and reached out to stroke her hair. "You go ahead and wash up first. I need to handle a work message." "All right." She didn't give it much thought, standing up and heading toward the bathroom. The door closed, and the sound of rushing water soon followed. I picked up the bag she had tossed on the sofa, unzipped it, and pulled out her phone. The password was our wedding anniversary. I entered the digits, and the screen lit up. The first item in the notification bar was a confirmation for a Black Swan cake order. Sent at 3:17 p.m. Delivery address: room 302, 3rd floor, Lanting Clubhouse. Remarks: birthday surprise for Mr. Suziline, please deliver on time. There was another line of small text below it. Handwritten card included: happy birthday. May the future be bright. I stared at those words for a long time. So long that the sound of the water in the bathroom had already stopped before I finally snapped out of it. I put the phone back in her bag, arranged it exactly as it was, and went out to the balcony to light a cigarette. Since she loved acting so much, I would play along with her until the very end. When I returned to the living room, Song Shiwening had just come out of the bathroom. She was wrapped in a bathrobe, the belt tied loosely around her waist. Her skin was flushed a healthy pink, and water dripped from the tips of her hair. To be honest, she was beautiful, especially right after a bath. She was breathtakingly so. She walked over and leaned against me naturally, her arms wrapping around my waist, and her face pressed against my chest, listening to my heartbeat. "Finished with work?" she asked, her voice muffled and playful. "Yeah." I grunted, resting my hand loosely on her waist. I didn't apply any pressure. She looked up at me, a hint of confusion in her eyes. "You're acting strange today." "Am I?" I curled my lips into a faint smile. "Maybe I'm just a little tired." "Then should I give you a shoulder rub?" She stood on her tiptoes, trying to kiss me, but I tilted my head slightly and dodged. She froze for a moment, a flash of hurt crossing her eyes. "Hubby, you're still mad at me, aren't you?" She bit her lip. "I already said, I only sent him some small things. Besides, I know I was wrong. I came home early today specifically to cheer you up. Just forgive me, okay?" She was right. All she had sent were small things like milk tea and cake. But she had broken the rules, and that was a terrifying thing, something that could not be forgiven. Looking at her aggrieved face, I felt no ripple of emotion in my heart. I even found it somewhat laughable. She did something wrong, gave an apology, and sent a watch, expecting to just turn the page. But what about the hurdle in my heart? I'm not angry. I reached out and stroked her hair. By the way, how is the HR process for Sue Zilleen's matter going? I asked casually, my eyes fixed on her face without blinking. Her body visibly stiffened. The hands wrapped around my waist subconsciously tightened. It's already in progress. Her eyes darted away, not daring to meet mine. The HR department needs to process the approval and handle the handover. It will probably take 2 or 3 days. She stammered, a clear sign of a guilty conscience. She probably didn't even realize how clumsy her lie was. Is that so? I smiled and didn't expose her. I gently lifted her chin with my fingertips, forcing her to look at me. No rush. 2 days won't make a difference anyway. She breathed a sigh of relief, the panic in her eyes instantly vanishing. She actually did intend to fire Sue Zilleen, but coincidentally, she saw a video he posted today and realized tomorrow was his birthday. She thought she would wait until after his birthday was over. I knew you were the most reasonable. She smiled, her eyes curving into crescents, returning to her usual tender and sweet demeanor. Oh, right? You said earlier you were going to give me a gift? Her eyes sparkled with anticipation. What kind of gift? Give me a hint. If I tell you now, it won't be a surprise. You'll know tomorrow. You're so mean, keeping me in suspense, she said, giving me a playful punch with a coquettish pout. The next morning, the first thing I did after arriving at the office was call Lin Feng in. How is the matter I assigned to you? Lin Feng's expression was complicated, looking like he found it hard to put into words. President Chun, it's done. His mouth twitched. Where is the item? I didn't dare bring it to the company, so I found a cold storage unit nearby to keep it in. If you want to use it, give me 10 minutes notice and I'll deliver it personally. I nodded. Good. Keep a close eye on that guy's movements. The moment he goes to a private room, tell me immediately. Understood, President Chun. After Lin Feng left, I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. Many images flashed through my mind. When we first got married, Song Xuening would arrive home earlier than me every day and wait for me. She would nestle in my arms to watch TV. Back then, she always said, Chinze, I'm following you for the rest of my life. Later, as the Song Corporation grew larger and larger, she became busier. I always felt that trust was the most important thing between husband and wife. I never checked her phone or questioned her itinerary. And the result? The result was her ordering a birthday cake for another man and lying to me that the termination process was underway. Around 2 p.m., Lin Feng sent a message. President Chun, Sue Zilleen has gone to Lanting Club. He just entered room 302. I switched off my phone screen and stood up. Bring 2 bodyguards. Let's go. Lanting Club was not far from the office, only a 20-minute drive away. When I arrived, 2 bodyguards were already waiting at the entrance holding cake boxes. The 2 silver-white boxes looked no different from any other high-end cakes, but who could have imagined what was actually inside? I walked in front with the bodyguards following behind and pushed open the door to private room 302. Sue Zilleen was facing the mirror, fixing his hair and humming a song. Hearing the commotion, he turned around. Seeing the 3 of us, complete strangers, the smile on his face instantly froze. Who are you people? You've got the wrong room. He frowned, his tone laced with impatience and the irritation of being interrupted. I didn't say a word. I walked over, sat down across from him, and looked him up and down. He was indeed good-looking, the sunny, clean-cut type that young girls adore. No wonder Song Xuening spared him a few extra glances. You're Sue Zilleen. He looked at me warily, scanning me from head to toe. Seeing my sophisticated attire and imposing aura, he didn't dare act too arrogant. I am. Who are you? Do you need something? Someone ordered 2 birthday cakes and asked us to deliver them. I signaled the bodyguards to place the boxes on the table. Sue Zilleen's eyes lit up instantly. His wariness vanished, replaced by an irrepressible joy. Did Sister Song order these? He rubbed his hands together, his face full of excitement. I knew it. She must have seen my video. She even ordered 2 to give me a surprise. He smiled triumphantly, letting his guard down completely, and even started joking with me. Do you delivery guys always dress so formally? You gave me a fright just now. I thought. Who is the person who ordered the cakes to you? I struck while the iron was hot, probing him. My boss. She takes good care of me. I think she's interested in me. I'm planning to confess to her today. As expected of a green youth just starting out, he had no depth at all. After just one question, he spilled everything with a boastful air. Logically speaking, at your boss's age and with her status, she should already have a family, shouldn't she? I chatted with him casually. Huh. He let out a look of masculine disdain. I don't bother asking about that kind of thing. For a successful and beautiful woman like my boss, so what if she has a family? Being by her side means I get both the money and the girl. As the saying goes, wildflowers are always more fragrant than the ones at home. As he spoke, he reached out and flipped open a lid. The instant the lid was lifted, a concentrated, nauseating stench surged out. It was rank and fishy, a direct assault on the senses. Suziline's smile froze. A split second later, he clamped a hand over his mouth and scrambled back. Gag. Ugh. He doubled over, and the lunch he'd just eaten sprayed out, covering him. He looked pathetic. What? What the hell is this? It reeks. He pointed at the cake box, his face deathly pale. Take it away. Get it out of here. It's disgusting. He looked up, glaring at me. I'm talking to you, did you hear me? Who the hell are you? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? I'm telling you, I'm calling Sister Song right now. I'll have her complain to your boss and get you all fired. He pulled out his phone, ready to dial. I leaned back against my chair and didn't move. I simply tilted my chin up, and the two bodyguards immediately stepped forward. One on each side, they pinned him down, wrenching his arms behind his back and slamming him onto the tabletop. What are you doing? Let go of me. Let go, you're hurting me. Suziline struggled, screaming and shouting. Do you know who I am? The president of the song group is my sister. She's coming here to celebrate my birthday today. If you touch me, you're dead meat. I slowly stood up, walked over to him, and used the tip of my shoe to hook his chin, looking down at him. Your Sister Song? I curled my lip. You sure call her that fucking affectionately. You? What do you actually want? He looked at me, terror filling his eyes. Nothing much. I tilted my chin, pointing at the two cake boxes. 2 cakes. Pick one. Finish it, and we leave. Suziline's eyes widened as if he had just heard a joke. You're crazy. Is this even meant for humans? I'm not eating it. Not even if you kill me. He stiffened his neck, acting tough. This is durian flavor, isn't it? It's probably gone bad. The smell is off. Get it away from me. Smack. I gave him a resounding slap across the face. Durian? You think you're fucking worthy of that? I spoke slowly, pointing at the cakes on the table. The one on the left is feces-flavored chocolate cake. The one on the right is chocolate-flavored feces cake. Pick one. Eat it all, and I'll let you go. Suziline's face turned from pale to green, then to black. You're a psycho. Why should I eat this? I won't. He struggled even harder. Not eating. I looked at the bodyguard, my tone flat. Then beat him until he does. The words had barely left my mouth when the sound of a beating erupted in the private room. The dull thuds of fists hitting flesh, the crashing of tables and chairs, and Suziline's screams for mercy all blurred together. I stood by the window with my back to them. I'm actually quite kind-hearted and can't bear to look at such violent and bloody scenes. The beating lasted about half an hour. Suziline's voice went from arrogant shouting at the start, "Kill me if you have the balls. Haven't you fucking eaten?" to tearful begging, "Please, brothers, spare my life. I have no balls. It's my fault. I have no balls." By the end, he was barely breathing. Stop. Stop. I'll eat. I'll eat it, okay? Any more, and I'll die." He sobbed in spasms. I turned around. He was slumped in the chair, his face swollen like a pig's head, blood seeping from his features. His white suit was filthy and crumpled around him. He was a far cry from the clean-cut, sunny boy in the video. The bodyguard stopped and dragged him to the table. "Which one?" I asked him. He looked at the 2 dark cakes, tears and snot streaming down his face, his eyes filled with terror and disgust. After hesitating for a long time, he finally spoke with a trembling voice. The one on the left. Feces-flavored chocolate. At least it's still chocolate." He spoke weakly and intermittently, as if he might suddenly run out of breath and drop dead. The bodyguard shoved a spoon into his hand. Eat. With shaking hands, Suzilin scooped a small piece and stuffed it into his mouth with his eyes closed. As soon as he chewed, his face twisted into a knot. He clamped his hand over his mouth, about to vomit. The bodyguard raised an arm. Swallow it. If you dare spit it out, you'll have to eat both. Tears poured down Suzilin's face as he was forced to finish the cake, bite by agonizing bite. The bodyguard burst out laughing. I was lying to you. Suzilin looked helplessly at the laughing bodyguard. Wow, what do you mean? Even if you don't spit it out, you still have to eat both. Left with no choice and cowed by the bodyguard's intimidation, he picked up the spoon again. Mouthful after mouthful, dry heaving every few bites. This time it was real feces. When it reached his lips to be vomited, they pinched his mouth shut and forced it back down. After nearly 40 minutes of torment, he finally finished both cakes. He slumped in the chair, motionless, the light gone from his eyes. Black cream stained the corners of his mouth. He looked like a dying fish. Why? He muttered to himself, his voice horribly raspy. Why did that feces-flavored chocolate taste so real? For fuck's sake, he was so pathetic he was actually savoring the aftertaste. The bodyguard standing nearby sneered. No shit. The ingredients were soaked in a cesspool for hours. Of course it tastes real. This is just to let you understand clearly. Stop thinking about taking shortcuts and social climbing all day. The moment the word cesspool hit his ears, Suzilin's pupils constricted into pinpricks. A second later, his stomach churned violently, and he jerked his head down, mouth agape to vomit. The bodyguard was faster. He raised his foot and stepped directly onto Suzilin's mouth, the sole of his black leather shoe pressing hard against his face. He stuffed the man's mouth directly. If you dare spit it out, I'll skin you alive. Suzilin struggled with muffled whimpers, his limbs flailing wildly. But he couldn't break free at all. After a long while, the bodyguard only released his footing once he saw that the man had stabilized. Suzilin collapsed onto the floor like a pile of limp mud, covered in injuries and reeking of filth. He didn't even have the strength left to cry. I withdrew my gaze, not giving him another look. Let's go. I led the bodyguards and pushed the door open. In the private booth behind us, nothing remained but a heavy stench and the sound of suppressed sobbing. I hadn't driven very far when my phone rang. It was Song Xuening. I answered and held it to my ear without speaking. Chenze? Her voice rushed through immediately, sharp with both anxiety and anger. Was it you? What did you do to Suzilin? Are you crazy? Her voice was trembling violently. It was clear she was truly livid. I leaned back against the seat, my tone flat. It was his birthday, so I sent him a cake. Didn't you also order a black swan cake for him as a birthday surprise? There was a pause on the other end. You call that a cake? That was an insult. Chenze, you've gone too far. He's still just a child. A child? I laughed out of pure irritation. Where the hell is there a 23-year-old child who spends every day thinking about stealing someone else's wife and being a homewrecker? I didn't realize you were so protective of him. I'm not protecting him. I just think your methods are too much, she defended. I originally planned to talk to him about his resignation after his birthday. Did you have to be so ruthless? Now he wants to sue you for personal injury and take this to the media. Let him sue, I said, my voice rippleless. If I couldn't handle something this small, I would have lived all these years for nothing. Go watch the video I just sent you first. I had recorded everything we said earlier. He didn't invite you over today for a birthday. He wanted to confess to you, take down the president of the song group, and then live the high life by your side. The other end of the line went silent instantly, a deathly silence. After a dozen seconds, her dry, raspy voice came through. How? How could it be like this? Her voice grew smaller and smaller, completely losing the momentum she had just now. How could it be like this? Isn't it because you gave him delusions time and time again? Praising his diligence, praising his outfits, sending him milk tea, ordering him cakes. You made him feel like he had a chance. Don't act like you're so clean and innocent. You're just as disgusting as he is. The voice on the other end vanished, leaving only her slightly hurried breathing. I could imagine her expression at this moment. Shock, panic, and a hint of disbelief. I. She stammered for a long time, but couldn't say anything. Song Xuening, let's get a divorce. After saying that, I hung up and immediately blacklisted her number. The scenery outside the car window receded rapidly, just like our 7-year marriage, moving straight ahead, but never able to return to the starting point. I sent a message to Lin Feng. Send 2 people to the house. Pack up all of Song Xuening's things and deliver them to the lobby of the Song Group. President Chun, are you? Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. I won't be living there anymore. Have the company prepare a room for me. Understood, President Chun. I'll get right on it. For the next half-month, I basically lived at the office. The lounge on the top floor wasn't large, but it was enough. The cafeteria provided 3 meals a day, someone handled my laundry, and I was surrounded by a team of beautiful secretaries. Life was comfortable enough. Occasionally, I heard reports from Lin Feng saying that Su Zilin was hounding Song Xuening, demanding compensation and an explanation. It had caused quite a stir, and the whole company was watching the drama unfold. I listened without reaction. This was fine. I enjoyed the rare peace. She chose her own path, and she had to bear the consequences herself. That afternoon, as I was eating sliced fruit fed to me by a beautiful secretary, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I pressed the answer button. Husband. Song Xuening's voice came through the receiver, hoarse, tired, and carrying a heavy sense of exhaustion. She sounded completely different from her former high-spirited self. Pa, I spat out a fruit seed. Something wrong. She froze for a moment. Su Zilin. He blocks me at the company entrance every day, and he waits downstairs at my house. Her voice carried a hint of a sob. I'm being driven crazy. Can you help me think of a way out? How do you plan to solve it? Maybe we should just give him a sum of money and be done with him. She paused, her voice sounding a bit strained. After all, you beat him up pretty badly, and you even forced him to. Forget it, let's not talk about that. Let's just spend some money to get rid of this piece of trash. I curled my lip. You sure do feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. I just find him troublesome. She argued reflexively. We can't let him keep making a scene forever. If he keeps harassing me, when will we ever be able to go back to? Spending money is fine. I knew what she was about to say and cut her off. But the money has to be spent where it counts. I put a heavy emphasis on where it counts. Where it counts? What do you mean? She froze for a second, as if realizing something, her voice tightening. Are you saying? I'm not saying anything. What you do is your business. With that, I hung up and blacklisted that number as well. I had made myself clear enough. The path she took was her own choice. Later on, Su Zilin really did seem to vanish completely. Without any warning, his Douyin account stopped updating and his phone wouldn't go through. He vacated his rental, didn't return to his hometown, and no one knew where he went. The next time I saw Song Xuening was on the first floor of Plaza 66. I was there shopping with my squad of beautiful secretaries. They were all carrying bags, laughing and chatting as we headed toward the parking lot. As I turned a corner, I bumped right into her. She was wearing a dark coat, her hair tied back haphazardly with loose strands covering half her face. There were heavy dark circles under her eyes and her skin was dull. She looked like a completely different person from the beautiful, elegant who she once was. Her eyes lit up when she saw me, but then her gaze fell upon the secretaries by my side, and her face turned pale instantly. She stepped forward, blocking my path. Chunze? She called my full name, her voice trembling. We aren't even divorced yet, and you already have other women around you? She raised her hand, pointing at the group behind me, her fingers shaking. I looked at her, finding it a bit amusing. What else? I said calmly. It's not like I'd have men around me. I don't have that preference. You? Her chest heaved with anger, and her eyes instantly turned red. We are still husband and wife. Does your conscience not bother you, acting like this? Husband and wife. I repeated the words. When you were bringing that intern milk tea, ordering him birthday cakes, and indulging him when he confessed to you, why didn't you think about us being husband and wife? There was nothing between us, she pleaded desperately, tears falling. I never had any other intentions. I've already admitted I was wrong, but you're the one insisting on clinging to such a small matter. Whether you had other intentions doesn't matter. I looked into her eyes, speaking slowly. What matters is that I can't accept it. It's that simple. Then what do you want? She bit her lip, tears sliding down her cheeks. Let's just go home, okay? Let's act like nothing happened. Let's go back to how we were. We can't go back. My voice was soft but firm. Find some time so we can finalize the divorce. I'm not divorcing you. She raised her voice suddenly, with a desperate, reckless air. I won't sign the papers even if it kills me. I'll drag this out as long as it takes. Let's see what you can do then. Her face was set with grim determination. I smiled, not surprised at all. If you want to drag it out, be my guest. As long as we aren't divorced, your company remains marital property. As long as we aren't divorced, any children I have in the future will be entitled to a share of your estate. When you pass away, all your inheritance will belong to them. I leaned in closer, lowering my voice. If you really want to drag this out, then by all means, drag it out. A divorce is actually me trying to leave you with some dignity. Song Xuaning's face instantly turned bloodless. Not a trace of color remained. Her knuckles cracked as she clenched her fists, and her lips trembled for a long time before she could manage a word. The light in her eyes flickered out bit by bit. After a long, long time, she spoke with a raspy voice. I was wrong. I'll change. I'll never do it again. Chinze, I'll wait for you to come back. Her voice was very soft, like a feather drifting in the air. I didn't respond. I turned to the secretaries. Let's go. The group brushed past her shoulder and walked away. The scent of perfume and the rustle of clothes gradually faded. No more sounds came from behind me. I didn't look back. Some mistakes, once made, are simply made. Once trust is shattered, no matter how you piece it back together, it will never be the same. If she is willing to wait, then let her. After all, I have nothing to lose.